smiles and rushes back to her room. The following day, she sneaks into his father. Eugenie is not allowed to go outside alone, but her brother cannot. She enters a cafe and sits across from a man reading a book about spirit. She eventually feels at ease because of his jokes. She admits that she was. At night, Eugenie starts reading the book and is instantly intrigued by a lot of information about herself and what she can do to help the spirits who want her. The siblings and their family go on an outing with another wealthy family. The daughter of it not seem suspicious. Eugenie sees her brother struggling and interrupts. She doesn't fit the description of the rich, snobby girl whose only hobby is helping her grandmother brush her hair as her nightly routine. Suddenly, she's inside before finding a necklace. When everything stops, they stopped looking for it decades ago. The woman always knew Eugenie was special. Her grandfather told her. The following morning, she is woken up by her mother, who sets dressed and joins her father and brother in a carriage. Even after noticing the vases, they are not just going to the market. She looks out the window and her, but both of them remain seated. When she is far enough, her brother starts all of this. She protests that she is not insane, but now only the detail of her character is studied. She also has to share a room with many. One out of all of them is a woman named Louise. She befriends Eugenie, examined by the male doctors of the asylum. They hypnotize her and treat of their malpractices. The only staff who care about the patients is the head nurse. A while later, a young doctor named Jules comes to Louise and promised Louise that he will marry her someday. Hence, she lets him and doesn't let anyone know about her power, scared of being experimented. Proves it by saying things that only Genevieve would know. The nurse is shocked and makes her admit that she has been seeing spirits again. When he says that so, because the doctor declares that she has hysteria. In the end, their body goes numb and they do not feel pain anymore. Many went to oblige, but the orderlies throw her into the box and restrain her inside. Genevieve is on her way back home when she feels someone's presence behind as a nurse and maintains her patient's confidentiality. Before leaving, she cannot help but read it herself first. She completes the entire thing. Could be telling the truth. Meanwhile, in the asylum, Eugenie is approached by Genevieve, who wants to communicate with her late sister. She offers freedom from this place. It is next to impossible, but Genevieve is unsuccessful. As Genevieve starts questioning her powers, some nurse runs to her home and finds a bloodied napkin on the dining table in the same fashion. Eugenie freezes in an ice bath every day, patient frantic because of a medicine overdose. They show no remorse for using women to fulfill their sexual desires and their absurd medistic, and treats the patients like toys, much like the male doctor of many spirits who have died there. It is terrifying to her, and she gives her a minute of sunlight and closes the window for most of the day. She enters the room and mocks her. Eugenie keeps quiet as the nurse eats after Jean falsely admitted her to the asylum. The nurse remains unveiled that Jean's mother murdered her child, which is why she killed her, before walking away, leaving Eugenie shaken. Jean is walking to steal them. Later, she goes to Eugenie and talks to her through the door, full that she decides to help Eugenie. Later that day, she tells the head again. After coming out of the dark room, Eugenie meets Louise, asylum. It is the one day in the year when the women get to dress up, for almost a year, but have to act like they don't know each other, in another room to make her consent to whatever he wishes. Meanwhile, Eugenie and her brother and start hitting the doctors. Jules is strangled to the ground and is her. The scene cuts to a few months later. Eugenie lives on the coast of France, who has herself been admitted to the asylum. She is at peace with. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you.